Hunters have a great selection of exotics when it comes to Arc 3.0 builds, and Blight Ranger is something that most hunters are sleeping on. This allows you to support your fire team by reflecting attacks and generating orbs of power for your fellow guardians, making this a very useful build for supporting your team, but also going on the offense too. Well, today I'm going to have a look into this Arc 3.0 setup, show off the benefits of Blight Ranger, plus also look at the supporting weapons and mod for this build. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell, and roughly 98% of viewers who watch this week in video games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, before we get into the video today, I'd love to hear what you think about Blight Ranger, especially after all those bugs have been fixed. Well, without further delay, let's dive right into this build. So first of all, we've got the Arc 3.0 setup. For my super, I'm using Arc Star. For my class ability, I'm using Gambler's Dodge. For my melee ability, I'm using Combination Blow. And for my grenade, I'm using an Arc Bolt grenade. Then for my aspects, I'm using Lethal Current, so after dodging, your next melee attack has an increased lunge range, jolts the target and creates a damaging aftershock, and damaging any jolted targets with a melee attack also blinds them. Then we got Flow State, so defeating a jolted target makes you amplified, and while you're amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly and you're more resilient while dodging, and your reload speed is greatly increased. Well, next up, let's have a look at the fragments. So we've got Spark of Shock, your arc grenade jolts targets. Spark of Ions, defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. So Spark of Recharge, while critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy regenerate more quickly. And finally, Spark of Resistance, when surrounded by enemies, the player has increased damage resistance. For the exotic armor, I'm using Blight Ranger. This one is an exotic hunter helmet with the perk Voltaic Mirror. So with Voltaic Mirror, attacks you redirect with your Arc Staff deal massively increased damage and generate orbs of power for your allies. And guarding with your Whirlwind Guard super does not consume extra super energy. Well, next up, let's have a look at the weapons. So in the kinetic slot, I'm using Bad Juju. So Bad Juju is an exotic kinetic pulse rifle that comes with the perk String of Curses. So a String of Curses kills refill the magazine, increase the damage for a short duration, and grants super energy based on the strength of String of Curses. Also, fires full auto. Then you got Hip Fire Grip, so increases accuracy, stability, and precision hit targeting when firing from the hip. Then in the energy slot, I'm using Tarnished Metal. This one is a legendary energy scout rifle with a lightweight frame, meaning it's got superb handling and you move faster with the weapon equipped. Comes with the origin trait Right Hook, where dealing melee damage gives the weapon increased target acquisition and range for a short period of time, and dealing melee damage again extends that effect. In the power slot, I'm using Plank Stride. This one is an arc machine gun, and great for an Arc 3.0 build, but also I've got a roll of the weapon with Thresh. So Thresh says killing combatants with the weapon generates a small amount of super energy, and that is going to work really well with Blight Ranger and this build. Next up, let's have a look at the mods. So first of all, Elemental Ordnance. Defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. I'm using Bountiful Well, so elemental well mods that cause you to spawn elemental wells now stack, spawning additional wells for each additional copy of the mod you have equipped. Font of Wisdom, so picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type, grants you a temporary, significant increase to your intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. Also, Lightning Strikes Twice, so after throwing an arc grenade, you gain increased grenade recharge for a short time, and arc final blows extend the duration of this benefit. I'm also using Harmonic Siphon, so rapid weapon final blows with the damage matched to your subclass type creates an orb of power. Also using Unstoppable Pulse Rifle and Anti-Barrier Scout Rifle. Okay, so let's have a look at the gameplay. So this build is focused around Blight Ranger and taking advantage of the main perk, Voltaic Mirror. This allows you to support your fire team by reflecting attacks and generating orbs of power for your allies. So therefore, we've got a couple of focuses for the build: generating super energy, using your super, and also grenades. So first of all, it's all about using your super as much as possible. The reason why we want to use our super as much as possible is to reflect the enemy attacks. So during our super, we can use our Arc Staff to reflect attacks according to the perk description. So attacks you redirect with your Arc Staff deal massively increased damage, and massively increased damage sounds very good, although Blight Ranger has a very bad reputation given it was bugged when it was first released. Well, that was all fixed at the start of this season, the Season of Plunder, so it should be much better now. To support Blight Ranger, we want to be able to use our super as much as possible, which is going to allow us to shield teammates and generate orbs of power so they can get their super too. To help generate super energy, I'm using Bad Juju, and that helps generate super energy when you get kills with a weapon. This works in conjunction with the Unstoppable Pulse Rifle mod, which helps us take down unstoppable champions in Nightfalls this season, and also there's unstoppable champions in raids like the recently added Kingsfall raid. Also, if you have any weapons with the perk Thresh, that is going to help generate super energy on kills. So I'm using Plank Stride here in the power slot with Thresh. That works really well for the build. Also, to help generate more super energy, I'm using Font of Wisdom, which is where picking up an elemental well that matches a subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase to your intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. Therefore, we want to be generating Arc Elemental Wells to help boost our super recharge rate. And we're doing this by using Elemental Ordnance, which is generating Arc Elemental Wells with every grenade kill. So we've got a bunch of other Arc 3.0 benefits related to grenades, which include Spark of Shock, so your Arc Grenade jolts targets. Also, Spark of Irons, so defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace, and jolting target sends out Chain Lightning, and when combined with Arc Weapons, that's really just going to electrocute loads of smaller enemies that stand in your way. Also, with Flow State, defeating a jolted target makes you amplified, which makes your dodge recharge much more quickly, and Spark of Recharge also really good. That's going to help our grenades and melee recharge much quicker. I'd be really keen to hear what you think about Blight Ranger. You know, I heard it was terrible, but many of the guides I read and many of the builds I've seen were before the bug was fixed, but let me know what you think about Blight Ranger down there in the comments. Well, that is it for this Hunter Arc 3.0 build with Blight Ranger in Destiny 2, and as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.